It's figure skating in its freest form. The International Professional Figure Skating Championships from Madison Square Garden in New York. Without the restrictions of the amateur rules, you'll see great skaters like the 1980 Olympic champion, Robin Cousins of England. In pairs, Tai Babilonia and Randy Gardner, remembered from their heartbreak in Lake Placid when Randy was unable to skate their final performance, are back on the ice. So are JoJo Starbuck and Ken Shelley. They've been skating together now for 25 years. It's pro skating, great skating today on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Brought to you by J.C. Penney. Today, there's more style in everything you do, and there's more style than ever at J.C. Penney. You're looking smarter than ever. J.C. Penney. By Michelob Light. You can have it all. And by RCA. From cameras to video recorders to full-spectrum television, RCA creates technology that excites the senses.
We're in the showplace of American indoor sports events, Madison Square Garden in New York, where a big crowd has gathered for the International Professional Figure Skating Championships. Hello, I'm Jim McKay, and you might say that this is the program that answers the question, is there life after the Olympics? Traditionally, you know, an Olympic athlete appears like a shooting star in the heavens, is the center of all eyes, and then a few years later we're saying, whatever happened to what's his name? Figure skating's been a little different in that after the Olympic glory, the stars usually go into an ice show for a couple of years, skating exhibitions only, and then slowly they disappear from view. Now, however, that's changing. Competitive skating, really competitive skating, has come to the professional field, and that's what we're going to be seeing on Wide World of Sports today. Working with us on the men's competition, as always, is the man who invented the triple jump, among other things, Dick Button. We certainly have two of the very best of all time going head-to-head here, don't we?
Well, it's really a rematch of last year's competition in which Toller Cranston and Robin Cousins fought it out. Robin Cousins won with some spectacular marks despite the fact that he had a fall, if you remember that competition. And this year is going to be a rehash of that very same competitive fight between these two skaters who represent totally different styles of performance. Robin Cousins, fast, flying moves, very much punk rock kind of feeling, and an exciting skater. And on the opposite side is Toller Cranston, inventive, creative also, but with a kind of bizarre, unique, offbeat kind of quality that is really solely his own, and something he has developed exclusively for his own style. It's a balance of styles and a balance of performance, and I think this rematch of this competition is going to be special.
Now, the rules are different for pro skating. Many of the restrictions of the amateur sport don't apply here. Also, the marking is on a scale of 10 rather than 6 as perfection, and the judges represent many fields. 4 of them are former skaters judging the technical aspects. Gordy McKellen, a 3-time U.S. men's champion, jumps and footwork. Fritz Dietl, a former top U.S. professional, overall and technique. Maria Jelinek, a former world pairs champion, spins and spirals. And Hans Gerschweiler, former world men's champion, overall technique. The artistic aspects will be judged by Charles Strauss, the composer of Annie, among other hit Broadway shows, Tommy Walsh, the Tony Award-winning choreographer of My One and Only, Robert Jacobson, the editor of Ballet News, Barbara Cook, who won a Tony for The Music Man, great singer, Jerome Landau, the New York entertainment lawyer, will give the average scores for a panel of the public judges. Now on the ice, David Santee, a familiar figure to us through the years. Married last July. His wife Kim, a former rock singer, is here.
Triple toe loop jump.
A lot of freedom here. You probably noticed that this kind of costume would hardly be seen in an international amateur skating championship. A lot of freedom for the skaters. Also, I'm sure you've noticed that this is not his familiar Rocky's theme music. It's much more what? Modern?
Nice pair of multiple revolution jumps.
David's been working a lot with John Curry. Do you see any of John's artistic approach rubbing off on him?
Well, I think that this particular type of number is the number that David has always done. It is not basically in any way a John Curry number.
No.
These kind of moves are very much David Santee, the kind of thing we saw in the World Championships over the years.
And when he finished 4th in the Olympic Games at Lake Placid.
Better spin than he always did, too.
There's his wife, Kim. She travels as the audio engineer of the John Curry Skating Company in which David skates. He always had that audience identification, though, Dave Santee.
You know, one of the interesting things is I think he still skates with the aspect, a little bit of Rocky shining through. Don't you see it?
Yeah, even without the Rocky music.
Yes, I think so. Hey, David.
I'm getting old.
You're not getting old at all. That's sensational.
Okay.
Do you feel good with this audience?
Great. Great. It's amazing. Working with John Curry was the best thing I ever did in my life. The happiest day of my life, July 17th, 1983. My beautiful wife is here, and it's changed my life. And whoever said that the Rocky character doesn't win, even if he doesn't come in first, is wrong, because you don't have to be in first place to be a champion.
A very terrific philosophy. I must say there's been an awful lot of improvement in your skating. It's a pleasure to see you. Here are the marks now. Gordy McKellen giving you a 9.6 for your jumping. And Fritz Dietl, a 9.6. He's judging the overall technique. Spins and spirals, a 9.8.
Crowd like that.
A 9.8 from Hans Gerschweiler.
9.8. Set number 5, musical interpretation.
Musical interpretation, a 9.8. Certainly popular with that one.
9.8.
And 9.8 again.
7, artistic impression. 9.8.
There he is, 9.8.
Performance.
Overall performance, a 9.9. How about that?
The average of our public judges, 9.7.
David,
Well done,
it's
David.
great seeing you again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Terrific performance.
Thank you.
Those boos indicating that some of the crowd felt the mark should have been higher, and I'm sure David's wife would join them in that sentiment. Tyler Cranston never won an Olympic gold medal, but today he's found true recognition in the pro sport. He's an artist, scenic designer, and television commentator. Has his new recognition made up for the lack of Olympic gold?
Well, Jim, I think that if I received an honorary gold Olympic medal, I'd be much more pleased, but not really. I guess the biggest compliment to my skating career is that when one travels internationally, and you might go to an East Germany or you go to a Japan, and you actually see little fragments of yourself in the young skaters. It doesn't mean that you beat your chest, but it's amusing to see it, and also to realize that you did actually have a certain influence on a sport or an art sport.
Do you look back on the days when you were doing these wonderful things and looking over at the judges and finding the same old marks time after time with some bitterness?
Well, do you know that the bitterness creeps in not for me today, but perhaps as a commentator when I see the same old things being done, and there's a part of me that is outraged by the injustice of some of the marking that one sees. You think that maybe after 20 years of perhaps a new style that has been introduced, that they would know better. Yeah. And actually, I think that very little has changed. However, I like to believe that the top skaters succeed in the end. I think that sooner or later, they do win.
And now, Cranston, the skating artist. A hushed crowd in Madison Square Garden, and skating to match the great operatic music that accompanies it.
Beautiful combination. Triple jumps in the way taller as only taller can do, following from one move instantly into another. His interpretation of Pagliacci, a first-rate one.
I was talking to him backstage, and he hasn't skated for a month.
Don't you believe it?
That's what he said. Cranston.
What a marvelous artist and skater he is. You know, he's been somebody who has developed and brought himself up to the epitome of skating, really completely almost on his own. It's been an extraordinary development. Both a stylist, a creative influence in the sport, a wonderful technician, and I think one of the most intelligent people in the world of skating.
Certainly not one-dimensional. He's written a book. He's a cartoonist, a scenic designer, costume designer, artist.
Don't say a word.
I can't, Dick. I'm too out of condition.
You're not out of condition. That was terrific. You know, I particularly like that triple salto that flies right into that marvelous taller Cranston stag jump. You're the greatest.
Well, Dick, you know, the funny thing about my competing here was that I should never have competed here because I didn't do my homework and I was too involved with painting. But I think now you can skate with your brain as much as your body. And I was thinking about what I was doing, and
Will you always, on the ice, create a marvelous picture for me, and it's fabulous to see you, whether you're painting or skating, because it's a combination of both.
Thank
Here are your marks, Toller.
Number 1, jumps and footwork.
On jumps and footwork, and 9.8. I think Gordy McKellen there recognizes some of the beautiful jumps. Fritz Dietl giving you a 9.9. Maria Jelinek, the pair skating champion, a 9.9. 9.7 from Hans Gershweiler, a 9.6 from Tommy Walsh. Now,
Charles Stroud.
9.7.
Here's Tommy Walsh, 9.7.
Here's Tommy Walsh, 9.7. The 9.6, 9.9, and a 10. Well, very good.
On the singer, Barbara Cook, a 10.
9.7.
I think Barbara Cook recognizes and understands what you're doing there. That's terrific. Toller, congratulations.
thank you.
Toller Cranston, one of a kind. Win or lose, an original, an innovator, and an artist. Will his marks hold up against those yet to skate, including Robin Cousins? As an amateur, Alan Schramm disdained the accepted way of skating. As a result, the best finish he ever had was 7th in the U.S. Nationals. But now he's found a home as a pro.
You can see from the start, right at the beginning, the most extraordinarily unusual type of skater. A maverick among skaters. A man whose movement flows so unbelievably from one to another. Look at this opening split. I mean, balance and finish, he doesn't care about. He just goes for it in the most extraordinary way. Triple.
He always conveys a sort of ominous, almost a spooky feeling out there.
The movement is spooky when it flows like, we'll see it coming up in the program, that the feet just glide. It's almost like fluid honey moving from one step to another. The blades and the edges never separating or separating from the ice.
Smash the radio, smash the watch, smash the camera. The rhythm is around me, the rhythm has control, the rhythm is inside me, the rhythm has my soul.
You certainly can't say there's your average everyday figure skater.
Not at all. He is unique. You know, those movements, we didn't see too much of them tonight in comparison to what he usually does, but it's very much of a fluid kind of feeling that erupts from one move right into the next. And you know, another thing about him, he never choreographs himself fully. He sets a program and then changes it a little bit here and there as he goes through as he feels it during the course of the evening.
Ad-libs a little bit.
No two performances are ever the same. He's an extraordinary performer.
And listen to the reception in Madison Square Garden.
Well, I got to tell you, you're terrific. You know, I saw you in London just a week or two ago in Electric Ice. You were smashing there, and you're terrific here, and I think everybody is really appreciative of your style of skating and the way you do this.
Thank you very much.
Just terrific. You know, I'm very impressed, and I think we all are.
Great.
Here are your marks. And you know, it'll be interesting to see how the judges react to your particular style of skating. From Gordy McKellen, jumps and footworks, a 9-9. Well, well, well. A 9-9 from Fritz Giedel for overall technique. Now jumps and spins and spirals. A 9-5 from Maria Jelinek. A 9-9 for overall technique and degree of difficulty. Tommy Walsh for choreography, a 9-9. Charles Strauss, musical interpretation. Overall, 9-9. And a 9-9 again.
The average of our public judges.
9-9. Well, now, I got to tell you, that's a pretty sensational set of marks.
I'm happy. I am very happy.
Good.
That's great.
Do you think judges are now coming around to recognizing your special influence in this sport?
Well,
there it is.
There it is.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
it's been a long time.
Well, it's terrific.
Very long time.
Congratulations, Al.
Thank you very much, Dick.
The rhythm has my soul.
A man with a mind and a style of his own, Alan Schramm. And now, as was the case last year, the pressure descends on this man, the next man to skate, the defending champion, Robin Cousins. Robin Cousins hasn't rested on his laurels since he won the Olympic gold medal in 1980. After 2 years as star of Holiday on Ice, he decided to branch out on his own. His dream, to start his own ice repertory company. The result, well, he's brought Electric Ice to London. Robin is not only the star of this show. After years of being a solo performer, he's now head of a 13-member company. He's the choreographer and the artistic director. So he's conceived of, shaped, and developed his dream into a reality. Let's have a look at what he created and how it all came together.
The entire second half I've had in my head for 2 years. And I think the most exciting thing for me to see was, this is probably very hard to believe, was that what I had in my brain and what I had sort of mapped out on paper went to the eye step for step without one change. I work with music in my head and skate to it all the time anyway. I cannot listen to a piece of music without performing to it up here. And the music was arranged through synthesizers and a rock band. And the result was mind-boggling when we first got to London, because we rehearsed with regular tapes, and the company came into London and we just heard this sort of live pulsating sound. It's the instant reaction of what you do is the right one. You know, you shouldn't have to make up choreography. Choreography should just happen. It's improvisation. A lot of the show was put together by improv. My challenge now is to, as I say, make what I have created legitimate. And the challenge for me is to make that ongoing and to not let that fail right now. That's my challenge.
Okay, well, here he is, Robin Cousins, the 1980 Olympic champion. An extraordinary skater, a jumper, a spinner, a choreographer in his own right now.
But after the marks of Alan Schramm, he doesn't have much of any place to go here, except by getting a perfect mark of 10.
Well, he's a very influential skater, and he's certainly capable of that if he performs well. Very much of a rock punk influence in his skating sometime. That's a beautiful double axel. Good, high, clean motion.
Of course, remember, in this competition last year, he had to come from behind very much like this to beat out Tyler Cranston, so we will see.
Triple toe loop. Now that jump not quite too good, not up to his usual standard. A little bit of a lean on the edge. But no, I think we're nitpicking now. The overall performance certainly smooth and clean. Look at this slide.
beautiful.
The open quality of that axle gives it such nice high flying, and as this does too. And of course, this trademark of his, going way back to the days of Skippy Baxter in the 40s, a backflip. That kind of a move never allowed in amateur competition, but isn't it nice to see in professional championships?
Yep. I'm always glad when he gets through that, however.
Yeah.
Not too much to quarrel with in that performance by Robin Cousins. And he was on the spot and knew it because he had watched the marks of Alan Schramm.
And, you know, it's an interesting move that he did. I had said earlier that he was very much in the influence of rock punk. He is, but this number did not express that at all. Totally opposite from Alan Schramm. Long, slow movements, very quiet performance. Never once did he dissolve into his usual jazz and rock kind of quality that he had. So in its essence, it was a totally different number for him. And all on one level. It had a unity and a quality to it that was quite unusual for him.
He still managed to work in his patented back flip. A bit out of that continuity, I guess, but it worked. Well, has Robin done it again? In a minute, we'll have his marks and the official results. And then we'll move on to the pairs competition, featuring the likes of JoJo Starbuck and Ken Shelley and the Heartbreak Kids of Lake Placid, Tai Babilonia and Randy Gardner.
You like the audience.
They've had such a terrific evening of performing. You know, it's hard. Everything's getting better and better as it goes on. And they're tough acts to follow. But with a crowd like this, you know, they make you want to do it. And they're really behind you. You can feel them. Even though we're miles away from you, but we can feel you up there. It's wonderful.
That's one of the first times I've ever seen such a unified performance. You never once changed into your rock or your punk
Something new for me.
Totally complete and unified number. Very nice. And there's a mark on your jumps, a 10. A 10 from Gordy McKellen. From Fritz Friedel. Overall technique, a 10. From Maria Jelinek. Spins and spiral moves, a 9.9. On Gershweiler, a 10 for overall. Tommy Walsh. Musical interpretation. And this is Tommy Walsh, choreography of the skater.
7 artistic impression, 10.
Artistic impression at 10. There you go. Got it straightened up there.
The average of our public judges.
An average overall from the public judges, another 10.
9.9.
A 9.9.
Barbara Cook had the 10 and the public judges 9.9.
That was a sensational set of marks.
Thank you.
I think you did it again, no?
Something new. I don't know. I just wanted to be different again. People expect to see me race around. I just wanted to show people I have a little control there, too.
You're making this a regular thing of coming from behind, though. You did it last year and now again.
Well, it's the challenge now, you know. We're still to get that competitive really pull, and I enjoy that still.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Terrific.
And the official standings show Robin as the winner, of course. Second place to Alan Schramm, third to Tyler Cranston, and fourth to David Santee. Yet to come, the pairs competition, as we said, featuring the likes of Tai Babilonia and Randy Gardner, JoJo Starbuck and Ken Shelley, and others. Now, the ladies' competition took place here earlier. The favorite was Denise Bielmann of Switzerland, former world champion, best known for her patented move, the overhead leg stretch, known simply as the Bielmann. There it is. As it turned out, her toughest competition here came from this woman, Angela Greenhow. Certainly not a household name because she never made it to the top as an amateur, but it's an interesting story. She grew up in Durham, England, and developed the expressive, flamboyant style you see. The judges didn't like it. She didn't win. By age 16, she was so frustrated she quit school, left home, and moved to Spain, looking there for freedom of expression.
I was allowed to be me, and I wasn't stifled by any views by anybody else.
She decided that creativity was most important, so she went back to London. She wanted to try to prove that same thing to the judges, but they still didn't buy it. It finally came down to a simple choice, if she wanted to be champion of Britain. To do that, she'd have to conform or else quit. She made her decision, and her mother told us what happened.
Okay, you know, I'm back in England, and I'll do it your way, but it doesn't matter what I look like, it's how I skate that matters. And then, you know, this teacher sort of, you must look right, your hair's got to be just right, and you can't wear tracksuits on the ice, you must wear leotards when you're practicing all the time and be just prim and proper all the time, which wasn't Angela, you see. But anyway, okay, she said, right, if that's what you want to do, I'll do it your way.
Yeah, I just felt that I had to conform. Otherwise, forget it.
It was just dead. You know, there was no life about it. There was no personality coming out.
It just didn't work. Her best was a disappointing fifth, so she finally turned pro, and then it all came together. She picks her own costumes now, selects her music, and the choreography comes from within. What is her approach now?
Just do it, and then afterwards it feels great.
And is she happier?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's just such a nice feeling. You think, oh, they like me.
Well, all that coming together seemed to reach its peak in the competition here in Madison Square Garden. The big crowd loved her performance, and so did the judges. In fact, Angela Greenhow was the winner. The girl from England had beaten the great Denise Bielmann. In a minute, the pairs competition. We're back at the International Professional Figure Skating Championships in Madison Square Garden. The men's and ladies competitions behind us. We move to the final phase. What we're going to see here very simply is head-to-head pairs competition. Commenting with me will be former world Olympic champion Peggy Fleming. Of course, you never skated pairs, but through the years, you've seen the very best from the Protopapas right on down the line, and we have some terrific pairs here.
We certainly do. We are going to see the exciting Tai Babilonia and Randy Gardner. We haven't seen them skate very much since the '80 Olympics, so to see them in competition again is going to be wonderful. They're going to be competing against JoJo Starbuck and Kenny Shelley. These are two different generations of skaters, and the defending champions, Candy Jones and Don Frazier, they just wowed this crowd here last year. They're very exciting to watch, so it's going to be an interesting competition.
Well, by the luck of the draw, the first skaters we'll see will be Tai Babilonia and Randy Gardner, remembered so well from their disappointment, their heartbreak in Lake Placid 4 years ago. The pairs short program provided one of the most dramatic and the single most heartbreaking moment of the Lake Placid Games 4 years ago. It was in the warm-up session. The principals were Tai Babilonia and Randy Gardner. What should have been a routine loosening up became high drama. There had been a rumor that Randy was injured, but the first lift looked okay. However, the rumor was confirmed right here, when Randy fell. We later found out that he had arrived in Lake Placid with the pulled muscle, and just 2 days before, he not only re-injured it, he pulled another muscle too. He was left with a tough decision, to get a shot of xylocaine or to skate with pain.
The last thing I was going to do was get the shot. And because I wanted to try to do it with the pain, but I couldn't. So the last resort was doing the shot.
Only Peter Carruthers, his roommate, knew the real problem.
I roomed with him in one of the trailers at the games, and I knew he was hurt for like 3 days, but each day he tried, you know, to overcome that, and I felt that he was to be commended for that effort on its own, because there are just a handful of people that will, you know, go through that agony of pain which he was in. He would, you know, be in his bed in the morning and he'd just sit there and go, God, I can barely get out of bed, it hurts so much. But he'd go and he'd do it, and that's pretty incredible.
Xylocaine masked the pain, but it wasn't the answer. Watch this fall closely, because it's not a normal fall. His legs were numb and simply couldn't hold him. They buckled underneath him.
It deadened just a little bit of my leg, but just enough where I really couldn't, things weren't balanced right. Just that little bit of numbness threw me off.
So Peter Carruthers knew the seriousness of the situation, but Tai had been left in the dark. She only found out with the rest of the world that Randy might not make it.
I didn't know how bad it was. They kind of, he and Mr. Nix kept it sort of quiet because I guess they didn't want me to panic, or, I mean, there was enough pressure already, and then to find out that he was injured. So they kept it pretty quiet, and I didn't know really how bad it was until the warm-up in a pair, and especially with Randy and I, when we're skating, it's Randy who always takes the lead. And that night, I was pulling him around, and I was in the lead, and I knew that's wrong. So, and I knew that he was hurt. When I start pulling him around, it didn't feel right. I remember just standing on the railing and looking out. I caught my mom, and I caught her eye. It's like, I don't know what's happening. So, it was like a nightmare.
Well, the nightmare continued. They left the warm-up session in total confusion, not really sure where to go, who to talk to, or what to do. But when it was their turn to skate, they returned to the ice, determined to try one last time. The crowd knew that something was wrong, but they didn't know what. Would they still try to skate? Was there any hope? Well, Randy took to the ice once again, the crowd urging him on. As he began to move, though, there was total silence.
It was quiet, and you could hear a pin drop in there when I was warming up. It was just like this a low hum.
In the silence, and with all eyes on him, Randy tried to jump once more. But he fell again, and it was all over.
He was hopeless. He couldn't do anything.
Everything just went right out of me.
My brain was just... So many things are going around in my brain.
It was just a really bad feeling, real depressing. Just like...
So Randy finally had to accept the inevitable. They had to withdraw. His partner, Tai, of course, had to accept the decision also. They left their dreams in the arena. Their Olympics were done. At the end, the flag raised highest was the Soviet flag, and the anthem was theirs too. The hockey team fulfilled a dream. Tai and Randy had a nightmare. Does it still haunt them?
It doesn't haunt me. But no, it's something that happened, and you get over it. It takes time to get over it. You get over it, and you keep pushing on, and that's what the two of us did. We didn't dwell on it. And I think everyone goes through some kind of big disappointment in their life, and you just know that there is more to conquer.
More to conquer for them in a minute when we return.
The air. Watch him throw her up in the air. Beautiful. flying camels. Watch how they're turning exactly in time.
Were very good at those.
Those are called Pole Arabians, which a lot of pair skaters do them because they're so spectacular, especially when you're tall people like they are.
Tai and Randy.
So wonderful to see them again out here competing, which we didn't get to see them compete in 1980.
Yeah, I think still in the back of the mind of everybody in this crowd is that sad sight when they just had to give it up in Lake Placid.
Yes, it certainly was.
Back in action. Tai and Randy, it's great to see you out on the ice again.
Oh, thanks.
Wonderful crowd.
Yeah.
I was just, thank you, New York.
Madison Square Garden, you're the greatest.
And here come your marks. And judge number 1 is the 3-time U.S. champion, Gordy McKellen Jr., judging jumps and footwork. Number 2 is Fritz Dietl, the former top U.S. pro, judging overall technique. Then we have Maria Jelinek. She's been a tough marker, the former world pairs champion. And Hans Gerschweiler, former world men's champion. Now, the artistic judges have changed. First, we have Henry Krieger, the composer of such hits as The Tap Dance Kid on Broadway. Then Judith Jameson, the star of Sophisticated Ladies, principal dancer with Alvin Ailey. This is Ken Duncan, the New York photographer, judging overall artistic impression. Wanda Reichert, winner of a Theater World Award for 42nd Street judging performance, and still displaying the average mark of the 10-member public panel, the New York theatrical lawyer Jerome Landau. Sure was a wide range of marks. What do you think of it?
I'm glad we got through it.
Oh, yeah. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot more.
I tried not to look tired, but did it come off okay?
Yes, we enjoyed it very much.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Total score.
Here they are performing one of their trademark moves, the Pole Arabians. Look at the extension on the legs. They do this very well.
Candy Jones and Don Frazier were the surprise winners of this event last year. This time everybody's very much aware of them and their specialty move, the no-hands death spiral, which they invented. Peggy asked them a little bit earlier how they happened to invent this tremendous move.
Well, actually, Candy was practicing with another pair team, trying to show the boy how to do his pivot. He slipped and let go of her, and she realized that she could hold it on her own. So at the time, we were working with Toller Cranston's ice show, and he encouraged us to leave it in the number, and so we decided to start jumping over and just add a little bit to it.
It's just fabulous. What does it feel like to have him jump over you?
Well, I think I probably closed my eyes just as he jumps. We did try learning a new variation on it for this year, but it didn't work, so we've left it as is. But I have no fear whatsoever of it.
Here they are, last year underdogs, today defending champions. Candy Jones and Don Frazier of Canada, in real life, Mr. and Mrs. Frazier.
Oh, isn't that a wonderful move?
Little circus music to surprise the people.
Coming up next is a double Lutz twist. Very nice, very sure of themselves. And there are the Pole Arabians again, Jim, just for you.
Yeah.
There's another illegal lift in amateur competition, but here, remember, you're watching professional skaters compete. Isn't that spectacular?
It's great. Well, intentionally, they give them the ultimate freedom here in the pro competition.
The throw axel. Looks like she kind of two-footed the landing, but it was still, the flow kept going. she's taken a little bit of acrobatics.
Oh, that's great, huh?
That's
very
so
nice.
exciting.
Well, they're the defending champions in this event.
Death spiral. This was originally done by the Protopopovs from the Soviet Union many years ago.
As nobody has done it since.
That's true. Look at the strength that he must have to pull her up in a one-handed overhead.
Somehow, in addition to skating and her medical studies, they both find time to go water skiing and windsurfing in the summertime.
That's real togetherness, isn't it?
For sure. So is that.
Is their no-hand death spiral. This is where he is going to end up jumping over her.
Yeah, that's the one they talked to us about.
I guess you really have to trust your husband to do this. Now watch. He is going to let go of her, and she stays in this position. It's incredible.
Whoa. Like she was on a string.
Oh, it's fun. Now, see what I told you before? I know a husband has always wanted to do that to his wife, and he gets to. Wonderful performance.
And that lady trusts her husband, that's for sure.
Yes.
Well, that's Candy Jones and Don Fraser, three-time Canadian champions, the defending champions in this event. That was just beautiful. Candy and Don.
Thank you.
Sounds like you made even more friends at Madison Square Garden this year.
Love it here.
Let's see what the marks look like, though, huh?
Oh. We'll now ask the judges to display their marks. Judge number 1 jumps in footwork, 9.6. Judge number 2, overall technique, 9.9. Judge number 3, spins and spiral, 9.9.
Going up, look at this, a perfect block of 10.
Judge number 5, musical interpretation, 9.8. Judge number 6, choreography, 9.8. Judge number 7 is in fact artistic impression, 9.9. Judge number 8 is performance, 9.9. The average of our public judges, 9.9.
That's just a marvelous job at defending your title. Congratulations.
The music, of course, is from Barnum, which reminds me of the great ice dancers from England, Torval and Dean, who also used this music so effectively. Jones and Fraser's moves are difficult and unusual, but in amateur competition would be illegal. But they certainly wowed the crowd and impressed the judges here.
Well, in a minute, a pair that have been skating together for a quarter of a century, JoJo Starbuck and Ken Shelton. Here There they are, JoJo Starbuck and Ken Shelley, who have been skating together for 25 years. That's right. I asked them what they remember most about that quarter century.
I think there's a lot of moments. The first time we went to the U.S. Nationals, and then when we won the U.S. Juniors, and then made the Olympic team in '68, and then from there, the Olympic Games in '72, and then we went on to a professional career. So many, many highlights.
Are there highlights, JoJo, in a professional career, or is that simply like a job?
No, there really are, and in fact, Pro Skates is one of those highlights, because aside from being at the wonderful Madison Square Garden, we're skating here with people that we've admired. Some we've grown up with, some we've watched grow up, and they're all the best professionals in the world. So to be on a practice session and have all of this great talent together, it's a real thrill to be here.
Well, practices are really few and far between for them these days because Kenny lives in New York, JoJo in California. Let's see how they do.
Spread eagle. Look at the togetherness. Now they're not even holding, and they're still going in the same direction, the same lead. That's a pair.
Just think, they were 13th in the Olympics the year that you won.
That's right.
1968. How far they've come since then.
And then they were 4th in the '72 Olympics. I think the 25 years of skating together really shows they just know exactly where each other is.
Particularly since they have so little chance to train together nowadays.
I think when you've been together this long, it just comes so natural, even though that you don't have the time to train together as they used to. It never goes away, like riding a bicycle.
Tyler Cranston says he thinks nowadays he can actually train in his mind.
In his mind, right. This is just choreographed so beautifully. It was choreographed by themselves and the help of Robin Cousins. Skating is so lucky to have such creative people involved in this sport. These are the question and answering spins, aren't they lovely? tension on JoJo's leg. Perfect split. Really nice.
JoJo Starbuck and Ken Shelley, American national champions in 1970, 71, and 72, and they haven't lost a thing.
That was wonderful. It really was. We didn't want to talk through the whole thing.
25 years, eh?
Yeah,
Yes.
25 years.
You better tell the people how old you were when you started.
We
Or they'll
were
be spreading stories that
One.
you're 60. One?
We were one.
Our parents were friends. We started when we were 7 years old, and we've been enjoyed 25 years of having a very good time skating together.
So you don't get as nervous as other people waiting for marks, right? Not much.
Were you nervous
Here
out
they
there
come.
today?
Judges to display their marks.
Not at all?
Not too bad.
It was real calm.
Judge number 1, jumps and footwork, 9.6. Judge number 2, overall technique, 10.
Oh-ho.
Judge number 3, spins and spirals, 9.9. Judge number 4, lifts, 9.5. Judge number 5, musical interpretation, 9.9.
What a wide range.
Number 6, choreography, 9.9. Judge number 7, artistic impression, 9.8. Judge number 8, performance, 9.9. The average of our public judges, 9.8.
All I can say, having seen the other marks, is that is really going to be very, very close. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's always one of the most beautiful sights in sport. A beautifully costumed pair, skating together in close unison to lovely music. And there's one more pair yet to go. Here's contrast for you. You saw Starbuck and Shelley, who've been skating together for 25 years. Alina Viola and Keith Green here have been skating together for 6 months. She's Canadian, he's American. They were brought together by Robin Cousins to skate in the show.
Now throw axel. Watch him throw her up in the air. A lot of height on that. It's wonderful. Acrobatic.
Oops.
I almost ran out of ice there. Difficult carry lifts in combination. Look at that. That is wonderful.
Wow.
Whoa.
Acrobatic performance by Alina Viola and Keith Green. We talk so often about long years of practice, it's difficult to believe they've only been skating together for 6 months. How did they make out, and who will be the winners? We'll find out when we come back. The results are in. The winners and still champions, Candy Jones and Don Fraser of Canada. The surprising second place to Viola and Green, who've been skating together for only 6 months. Then Starbuck and Shelley, and in 4th place, Babilonia and Gardner. That's it from the Garden. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. The coordinating producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Dennis Lewin, who produced today's show, which was directed by Doug Wilson. The coordinating director, Carol Letty. Our associate producer, Meg Streeter-Loft. The associate directors, Bob Hirsch and Catherine Cook. And our technical director was Bill Morris. Next Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the United States Amateur Boxing Championships and same-day satellite coverage of Men's World Cup downhill ski racing from Val Gardena, Italy. This Monday, the Los Angeles Raiders will meet the Detroit Lions on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Today's program was pre-recorded. By the way, many of these outstanding skaters will be in competition again tomorrow. That's Sunday, December 9th, tomorrow at Madison Square Garden in New York in the Pro Skate Championship, which you'll be seeing later this winter. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly sky. Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This has been ABC's Wide World of Sport.
Brought to you by exceptionally smooth Michelob. Where you're going, it's Michelob. And by Ford and your local Ford dealer, who invites you to see the 1984 Ford cars and trucks. Have you driven a Ford lately?
This has been a presentation of ABC Sport, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.